I call the honourable member Darian Fenton.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and it is with great pleasure that I speak in the third reading of the Holidays Amendment, Mondayisation, etc. bill. My only regret is that its sponsor, Dr David Clark, isn't here to see it pass through this third reading. And I want to send my congratulations, as I know indeed Grant Robertson is, and all of the Labour caucus to him in America for the great work he's done in this member's bill, and also acknowledging the role that Grant Robertson's played as well. But also, it's been a Labour effort, actually. We've all worked hard to see through a change that actually does changes life for the better for working people. And it's not often that that happens, Mr Speaker, and it certainly never happens under a national government. So this is a special day. This is a very special day, considering that we've had 5 years of attacks on workers' rights, including a foolish dependence on being able to sack people within 90 days without reasonable justification as a job creation measure, including a minimum wage that's increased only by $5.60 a week, or just 14 cents an hour in real terms over 5 years since this national government became the government, and including cuts to the wages of young people who come into effect on, guess which day? The 1st of May, International Workers' Day. There's a wonderful reward for young people, the hard-working young people of the country, on International Workers' Day, the 1st of May. And there is more to come. We know the legislation's heading our way. The employment law changes are coming. And you know what, Mr Speaker? They're even going to cut workers' tea and meal breaks. They're even going to make cuts to the tea break, the smokers' break, the smoko break. So hard-working New Zealanders have been forgotten by this government, and they can't even bring themselves to support what they know in their heart of hearts is the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. We've had some interesting arguments through the passage of this bill, Mr Speaker, but one that has been canvassed at length by the National Party is that it undermines the special nature of Anzac Day. Now, Anzac Day on the 25th of April has been a holiday since 1921. It was first gazetted as a half-day holiday in 1916, but back then a holiday meant a real holiday. It meant a real day off, like Sundays used to be, when no shops were open. The pubs, even Saturdays, that's right, and the pubs were shut, and the local dairy was closed, and the buses didn't run. That's what it used to be like. Now, a lot's changed through the last 100 years. There's been several Holidays Act amendments. There's been several Anzac Day and Waitangi Day acts. Annual leave and public holidays have been increased without the vote of the National Party, of course, without their support. But also what's changed is more workers are now expected to work on public holidays. So while the pubs and shops are still closed on Anzac Day morning, it's only till 1 o'clock, whereas once, Mr Speaker, it was the whole day. On Waitangi Day, it's a free-for-all, so everything's open. And meanwhile, despite the changes, support for Anzac Day as a day of commemoration has built over time, and people's understanding of the importance of Waitangi Day has also increased. And nothing in this bill will change that. Anzac Day will still be on the 25th of April. Dawn services will still be held. Large crowds will still turn up to services and parades throughout the country. I'll attend and remember my father and grandfather who had fought in both World War I and World War II. Anzac Day will still be observed as a holiday on that day, regardless of which day of the week. And for people who work on that day, and many do, they will be paid time and a half, and they'll get a different day off on pay. Now, Waitangi Day has a much more recent history, but its significance of a day of celebration and commemoration on the 6th of February will also remain the same, in the same way Anzac Day will. But to take the National Party's arguments to their logical extension, Nobody in this country should be able to work on Anzac Day or Waitangi Day because those days are just too sacred. But during this debate, I have not heard one word of concern from the National Party for the thousands of workers who have to work on Anzac Day and Waitangi Day. There's been not one word of recognition that many workers don't get a holiday at all, and for them Anzac Day and Waitangi Day is already on a different day. Not one word from the National Party, not one word of ownership of the petty and distrustful extension of an employer power that the National Government introduced in 2010, where employers can transfer Anzac and Waitangi Day to a different day without the consent of the worker. Not one word from the National Party of concern about this, instead a whole lot of sanctimonious concern that somehow having a holiday, having this Mondayised 1 year in 7, 2 days out of every 7 years, is going to undermine the sanctity, the sacredness of Anzac Day. The National Party brought in legislation in 2010 that allows employers to decide when Anzac Day falls or Waitangi Day falls, and allows employers to decide when the worker gets the day off. Anzac Day for them can be any other day than the 25th of April, Mr Speaker. Waitangi Day for them can be any other day than the 6th of February. So let's face it, for thousands of workers in New Zealand, there is no Anzac or Waitangi Day. It's meaningless, and for this government to argue that this bill undermines those holidays is, quite frankly, a word that I'm not allowed to use. Because the National Government has done away with Anzac Day and Waitangi Day for them, and now it's been crying crocodile tears. Simon O'Connell was the best, you know, 10 minutes of reading from the diary of a World War I soldier, unbelievable. Yet it was their legislation in 2010 that means that those 2 days just do not exist for many workers. They work on the days, they don't, and they get another day off that the employer decides. Anzac Day and Waitangi Day can be any day that the employer has decided. And then there's been, of course, yes, of course, there's some people get no holidays, like independent contractors, and that's another story. But then we've had all the arguments around cost, and David Bennett made a bit of a feeble attempt at it. But I cannot accept that New Zealand is in such bad state, that our businesses are so hard up, that this will send businesses broke, as the government has claimed, even to the extent of using their dodgy figures. It's far more honest to just accept and own up to the fact they do not want workers to have more holidays. And employer organisations like the EMA were very honest with us when we asked them. They have never, if they've ever supported more holidays, they at least owned up in select committee and said, no, we've never supported 4 weeks, never supported extra holidays, just like the National Government. And then as supports gathered for this bill, John Keyes tried to do this what me worry routine, the world's not going to end. I think the government's now embarrassed that they imposed this bill. They know they're on the wrong side of public opinion. They know they can't justify their opposition because they've already changed the law themselves to undermine the special nature of Waitangi Day and Anzac Day. I believe in their heart of hearts they know this bill is the right thing to do. It's a sensible bill. Kiwis know this is a fair deal. This is a great day for Kiwi workers. This is a great day for Dr David Clark. It's wonderful to see a Labour bill that will advance things for New Zealand workers in this House again, and in 2014 there will be a lot more when we're the government.
I call the honourable member Mike Sabin.
Thank you,
Tēnā koe.
Kia ora.